James Lowe here once again at the piano. Today I'm going to be playing a very famous piece. This is Für Elise by Beethoven. Für Elise or Für Elise. Some people would say For Elise, which is kind of the translation. This is a very, very well-known piece. A lot of piano students, aspire to get to this point where you can play this piece. There's many versions. There are simplified versions, but the original version, the opening theme, of course, very, very well known. Very famous, and it's a piece called, he called it a bagatelle, which kind of translates to a trifle, which, for us, it's a pretty amazing piece of music, and for Beethoven, it was just sort of like this light, kind of simplest thing compared to some of the more intense stuff that he created. And I'm starting to understand that it seems like maybe it wasn't so known in his lifetime, and it was sort of discovered many years after he had passed away. A musicologist found it, and it became kind of famous, posthumously. And so I'd like to talk about the form of this piece today. So that opening phrase, the opening theme, those two notes that are very close together, and that opening melody, this whole section is what we call the A section of the piece. It goes to a major key for a second here, a little happier, and right back to the minor, and so on. I left off a note there, but we won't tell you. So that's the A section. So typically in the form of music, when we talk about form in the case of music, and I spoke about this in an earlier video. I was playing Layla, and I was talking about the different phrases in the piano coda of Layla. And I was breaking down the form of that piece, which, by the way, I should do a correction. I had it in my mind about a story about Rita Coolidge having some input into that song. I didn't mention it in the last video because I wasn't sure if it was just a rumor, but a few friends reached out to me on Facebook and on YouTube mentioning that story, which I appreciate. And I decided to dig a little deeper, and from what I can understand, Rita and Jim Gordon, who composed that piece, that coda, a piano coda of the song Layla, were a romantically linked couple, and Rita heard Jim playing the chords. This is the story I got from, I think it was on her webpage or her Wikipedia page, but I also watched an interview with her talking about it. And apparently he was playing those chords on his piano, and she heard it, and she's like, "Ooh, that's really something. We could do something with that." And then she helped him expand the idea. So I think he had some ideas on piano, and Rita kind of added to it. I think she might have, showed him the bridge or found a bridge or a way to transition some of that piece. So definitely, it seems like it wasn't that it was not written by Jim Gordon. It seems like the reality is that it was written by both Jim Gordon and Rita Coolidge, and she didn't get the credit for that, but she gets props for a lot of her other recordings. Huge star in the 70s, Rita, on her own terms, and that was her biggest decade, of course, but she's still performing and still getting it done out there. So, little digression there. Back to Beethoven now. So, Beethoven, the opening theme of this piece, the A section, right? So, typically, obviously, we're going to go alphabetically if we're going to talk about form. So, the first part of a piece, we're going to call A, right, typically. And the overall form of this Für Elise is what we call a rondo form, R-O-N-D-O. Not to be confused with Rajon Rondo, the great basketball player for the NBA. But rondo form in music typically will be an A, B, A, C, A. A section, then a B, then an A, then a C section, and then an A. C section, of course, that means something else too, but in music, it's just a piece of the song, the C section as opposed to the B or the A section. Genesis, the band, has an album called ABACA, which musicians, of course, know. They were probably tongue in cheek there. Maybe that's the form of ABACA. I think I checked it out once. Maybe I think it is. ABACA, possibly. But little tongue-in-cheek there, ABACA, name of that album. So let's talk about these sections. So here's the A section, and so on, right? And this is another part of the A section. Now, there are individual phrases within the A section that you could dissect it even further. So you could use a capital A for the overall section, and then you could use a lowercase a and maybe a lowercase b to talk about the phrases. But I just want to talk about the overall section. So that's all the A section. And then we get a B section, which sounds like this. And so on. That's the B section. Different, right? Very different sound. Takes it to a major key. Yeah, they do this a lot in the classical period, in Beethoven's day, right? Transitioning from a minor key, and then suddenly you're in a major key. And then somehow you transition back to the A. So he takes us back to the A section. Way. Whoops. I got to practice this piece. There's the transition, right? So it's with that chord, which is an E chord, by the way. And then he states that opening theme again. So this is the other A section. And he goes through the whole thing. Here comes the C section. More dramatic, kind of intense. Going back to A now. Ending with the A section. ABACA is the form of Beethoven's Für Elise, and that's spelled F-U-R with the umlaut, the two dots over the U. People have wondered who Elise may have been, and there's some argument that maybe Elise was not what he actually wrote. Beethoven didn't have the greatest penmanship, and the musicologist who discovered this may have misinterpreted that. It might have been Für Therese, which we know there was a Therese who was a student of Beethoven, and it's long been thought that he wrote this for one of his piano students. I hope you enjoyed this discussion of the form of Beethoven's Für Elise. And in my next video, I'll play the whole piece without the discussion. I'll go right to the music and uninterrupted. Please enjoy these videos. Feel free to share them. I would love to think that they're going out there and doing something, and educating or just giving some enjoyment. So feel free to share. You can check out my website, jimlowe.org, JIMLOWE.org. I'm the original J Lowe, by the way, but I'm not going to pursue any legal action because my name's spelled with a W-E, J-L-O-W-E. So in any case, have a great day. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're hanging in there, and I feel like we're on an upward swing right now during this difficult period that we're in. All the best to you and your family, and check out for Elise. Pull up a version on your phone, on your tablets, and on your stereo, and enjoy that beautiful piano music. I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.